Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. Thank you for tuning into another Supatease video. And I thought that they were going to start to slow down. I was wondering if they were going to hit every single nail in terms of problems currently in Shadowlands for 9.1.5. And they're really they're not letting me down, honestly. They're hitting nail after nail, week after week. Things that I've thought about are now getting looked at and being addressed. And I'm hoping that this is just going to continue to be the trend moving forward with the remainder of Shadowlands and future expansions. So we've got a lot of class updates specifically in this one. Druid is having a lot of stuff changed around with it, and Rogue is getting some pretty interesting stuff as well. So Restoration Druid right off the top is going to get to look forward to a new efflorescence visual. Perhaps we're no longer going to be looking at a mushroom on the ground. It looks like Glyph of Wild Mushroom is going to be available to go back to its old version. So a nice new cosmetic for Resto Druid. I'm sure there's already somebody typing in the comments, they're just updating cosmetics. This isn't a change. There are real changes, but a couple new visual updates to spells. You'll love to see a little bit of appearance improvements. Now looking at Monk specifically for PvE, Chi Burst is now going to deal reduced healing beyond 6 targets. As we're all aware at this point that there's been a lot of AoE uncapping of spells and abilities, and they've made a note here to say that this spell previously used a complicated invisible AoE capping scheme for healing. This is being replaced with a clearer one where the amount of healing decays on each target after the 6th target is healed. So pretty complicated there. Not really sure what that means for Chi Burst, if I'm being honest. Now looking at Priest, the Divine Star talent and the Halo talent are now dealing reduced healing beyond 6 targets, likely to do with the AoE uncapping once again. And they've got a similar note here that these spells previously used a complicated invisible AoE capping scheme for healing. That seems like some sort of nefarious gangster terminology for the spell. This is being replaced with a clearer one where the amount of healing decays on each target after the 6th target is healed. Divine Star's heal cap is now independent on its outgoing and returning trips. Be curious to see how that plays out. These changes are going to have more implications in large-scale combat like raid environments, I would imagine. But for Halo, its healing is being reduced by 20%, but they say that combined with the above change, it's still a net healing increase on a large number of targets. So again, in raid environment, Halo is still going to be good. PvP, you're probably not going to see these. Now for Rogue, your legendary is getting a very interesting update specifically targeted at the Night Fae here. And this is going to be your Toxic Onslaught legendary has been slightly redesigned. And now when Sepsis expires on your target, you are granted 2 of the following effects for 10 seconds. Shadow Blades, Adrenaline Rush, or Vendetta is applied to your current target. Bonuses granted are those that are not available to your spec. Example, an Assassination Rogue will gain Adrenaline Rush and Shadow Blades. Very curious to see how this legendary plays out. If you haven't already, I would recommend if you're a Rogue player getting on the PTR, it's free to get on the PTR and try out this legendary, because I'm thinking in PvP specifically, looking at an Assassination Rogue with Adrenaline Rush and Shadow Blades on a target, and then they can pop Vendetta on top of that. It could be a nasty amount of damage. In PvP specifically, this one was kind of standing out to me, and that PTR is going to be a great place to really try it out without having to be too worried about unlocking it. Now Sanctum's getting a couple of quality of life improvements. Trial of Style is going to be getting a new boot transmog. Actually, when I went to the Trial of Style the last time I was up, I was like, these are the same rewards that have been here for I don't even know how many years. So it's nice that it's getting a little bit of an update as well. And now we get into the meat and the potatoes. We're going to be looking at PvP changes. The Fleshcraft Covenant ability is being nerfed by 10% of your maximum health, and it's being effectively capped at 30%. So there's not going to be any more of the shenanigans of respecking your talents and your trinkets and getting these extra health. It is going to be skimmed down to 30% no matter how much you try to make it be massive. I think that's a great move here. There were a lot of classes that could abuse stamina increasing temporary effects and start the fight with this insane shield that wasn't intended. So looking at this right off the top and reducing its effectiveness overall makes a lot of sense for improving the qualities of PvP. Feral Healing is being looked at, and the way that it's being addressed is through the PvP talent Strength of the Wild, which now increases Regrow's initial heal critical strike chance on allies by 30% instead of 100%. Again, to me, Feral's main point of survivability is really healing itself, but and providing passive healing to its entire team over time. So I'm not sure if this will completely gut you out of the meta. Maybe it'll just open up this PvP talent to be something else as a Feral Druid. Not sure if it's really going to hit the head for what is really potent on Feral Druid at the moment in terms of healing. Guardian Druid, Grove Protection, radius significantly increased. I've still yet to see anybody actually press this ability. And I'm gearing a new character. I do battlegrounds. I do everything. I've still yet to see this pressed. So you're going to get more range on something that I don't know if anyone's taking it at the moment. And for Resto Druid, you're getting an interesting update to Keeper of the Grove, which is a talent that I've been taking a lot against rogues specifically to heal through Smoke Bomb without being interrupted. But now, instead, it's going to protect the Druid from all harm while Tranquility is channeled. So it sounds like a bubble. Sounds like a Divine Shield. If you use Tranquility, you're going to Divine Shield rather than being immune to interrupts. So if you can keep track of the enemy's interrupts or hard crowd control and know, hey, they don't have anything, I can just go completely immune to damage. I don't know if that will end up being better or worse, honestly, than being immune to interrupt. Immune to interrupt with the healing throughput was really nice for value. This is like now kind of an emergency personal defensive cooldown. And you're not really targeted that often as a Resto Druid, so it might kill this talent off. I'll have to try it out myself. I've been playing a lot of Resto Druid, but it might kill it off. Now, another major kind of problematic ability at the moment in PvP being the Spinning Crane Kick. The Dance of Chi G procs now cause your next Spinning Crane Kick to deal 150% damage in PvP combat, down from 200%. So a little bit of a nerf targeting the Spinning Crane Kick. It's looking at all of the right stuff, these changes so far. The Fleshcraft one, great. Looking at Feral Druid healing is great. Looking at the Spinning Crane Kick, burst damage and cooldown stacking for Windwalker, I think is great. But we've still yet to see Necrolord Warrior. I know a lot of those Necrolord Warriors with their banner and their massive crits are probably like wondering when there's something. I don't know if it's going to happen. Maybe there's not enough Necrolord Warriors. We saw a nerf towards the Kyrian Warriors in the most recent patch, but I'm a bit surprised to not see the Necrolord or something to do with Divine Toll for Ret Paladin just yet. But maybe you're on the chopping block for next week. If you want to make sure that you're up to date with all the changes that could potentially happen, then make sure you're subbed to the channel. Absolutely free. Just lets you know when my videos go live. Now, Shamans are going to be also getting their Unleash Shield PvP talent getting slightly buffed. Earth Shield effect will now root for 4 seconds, up from 3. And the Lightning Shield effect will now knock back enemies 33% farther. I've still yet to see anybody actually use this for knockback. On Lightning Shield specifically, 33% does not sound that massive to make me think that all of a sudden Shamans are going to be flipping over to Lightning Shield and trying to just knock people away. But depending on how far the knockback is, this could be great kiting utility for something like an Elemental Shaman or an Enhancement Shaman potentially. But we'll have to kind of wait and see on how far that knockback is going to be. And again, this change is already known. You're going to be able to skip the introductory Shadowlands kind of questing area through the Maw once you've done it once and you've logged onto a character once. And some quality life improvements to LFG. So now PvP categories will use the player's PvP item level instead of their regular item level, so you can get an accurate gauge on the power of a player rather than kind of the incorrect information giving likely would have been a lower item level. So nice quality of life changes in this update. I like the cosmetic updates in this update, and specifically the Fleshcraft Necrolord update was really good. It looks like they're targeting the right type of stuff in terms of common complaints for PvP balance, but I'm not sure if it's going to be enough. There's still a couple that are kind of on my grocery list in terms of things that might be hitting a little bit too hard in terms of cooldown burst. But again, a bit worried about overcompensating the burst damage down and going back into a very slow-paced meta. I'd still rather see changes like we were getting before, which has now put Beastmastery Hunter in this amazing position where it's got damage all the time. If we could see those types of constant tune-ups to other specializations that are kind of lacking damage outside of their cooldowns, then I think the PvP could be in a really good space. So far, we've got quality of life changes to honor gains and reducing the amount of honor costs towards your honor gear. There's going to be some account-wide conquest gear in the most recent patch. So if you're thinking about coming back to World of Warcraft or Shadowlands, it looks like 9.1.5 is going to be the place to be for that. And I'm really interested to see what future changes they come up with or how these changes evolve with the next couple of weeks. I'm not sure when the patch is coming out specifically. So hopefully there's still another round or a couple another rounds of updates in the future. Other than that, thank you very much for watching the video. If you liked it, please leave it a thumbs up. Comment down below with your thoughts. Do you think they're hitting the nails on the head here with the changes? Is what you're seeing starting to get you more interested in coming back to Shadowlands? Are you going to start playing some alts, maybe some new classes given these changes? Love to hear it in the comments down below. If you want to watch me live, I broadcast on twitch.tv/Supatease. I'll be streaming Druid and Warrior gameplay in 9.1.5. If they make it more accessible, I'll be playing a whole plethora of experimental things to try and really see what is in the depths of Shadowlands in terms of potential for PvP. And other than that, thank you very much for watching the video. I will see you in the next one.